Welcome to the Balanced Podcast, where we talk about the deepest secret of the universe
The universe. That's
and
those
the
sec-
hottest topic in the world.
the universe. Talk about a loaded topic.
So
That's it. We're
what's
back
happening? What's
again.
hot today? What's hot in the world? What's going on?
What's hot in the
Yeah.
world?
Apparently, we're going to get a snowstorm tomorrow
Every day
into
this guy talk about the
Thursday.
same weather. Come on, man, you need to move.
I'll be the dedicated weather guy. You feel me? You know, it's a division of tasks. You
You
feel
need to
me?
move. You need to move. You need to move out of, go somewhere. Go to LA or something.
Actually, my kids are in Jamaica right now. You know what I'm saying?
What are we doing
So
here then?
here with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Talk about the deepest secrets of the universe. You feel me?
Priorities,
I'd rather be in Jamaica to tell you the
Actually,
truth.
so you're bringing the heat in the snow or something.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Figuratively speaking, you feel me? I'm a sun baby, you feel me?
Okay.
That's
So
what it
so
is.
today we have how can we introduce you, man?
Introduce yourself,
So
you know what
everybody,
I'm
what's
saying?
happening? My name is Donna Itzi. You already
Yeah.
know. I'm a film critic, a writer, an editor, a journalist, a radio host, TV media personality across the board.
Mm.
And thinking, I just came back from LA actually, and it was pretty cold. It wasn't snowing, but it was pretty cold.
Mm,
It gets cold in California around that time of the year. And did you guys see? That's my piece of what's hot in the world. Did you
Mm.
guys see that electric stone that they found in
yes,
Africa?
yes.
I saw it.
I thought it was nonsense. I looked at it, I skipped it. I
In
was
the
like,
Congo,
nah,
I
this is
think.
in Congo.
Yeah.
I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was like just some nonsense. I was like, I'm so used to, people be
Right,
posting
right.
a
Nah,
bunch
but
of
then I
like
seen
different,
many more
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
videos.
yeah.
First thing I said, I'm like, that's vibranium, dog. Like, you know what I'm
No,
saying? This
for
is
real.
Wakanda,
And the
fam.
second thing I've thought about is how much time do you think they will give Congo before they say, like, the Democratic Republic of Congo
Right.
is not democratic enough. We need to inform. We need
Yup.
to send troops to send
You know,
democracy to Congo.
freedom and
We
democracy.
need
You
to,
feel me?
you
We gotta
know,
send them
I can't
boys.
wait to see the excuse they come up with to invade
And
Congo.
that's not all.
Okay.
I've also
Mm.
seen that there was a mountain of gold found. I don't know. Was this Zimbabwe? I don't know. I could totally
Mhm.
be mistaken. It is in Africa, and I just seen this today or yesterday. So that plus the charged stones.
Mhm.
I'm over here thinking, man, like yo, something's coming.
Bro, if Africans from all nations started digging in their backyards more,
Mm.
they would never have to worry about what's going to be on their plate ever again.
Well, the thing is, I think they would. However, when the scramble for Africa happened, where all the European countries started colonizing different places, they left, right? But there are still like contractual obligations, like the same way
That's what's keeping them that way. It's
exactly,
contract. I didn't know
exactly.
that. I
There's
didn't
still
know that.
contractual obligations, like Kimberly Jewelers. You know what I'm saying? Is named after a town in South Africa. You know what I'm saying? Where there's big diamond
You
mine
know,
over there.
you know something? When did gold become so valuable? That's something that
It's been valuable
not,
for a long
not
time.
just gold, but
Precious
earth
minerals.
I think
matters.
I think we've attributed the value of it based on like it's been different, right? For
Mm.
example, back then people used to value gold because it was pretty to look at. And you had the Mayans who valued gold because it represented the sun and they
Mm.
sort of like
Mm-hmm.
believe in you know what I mean? And nowadays gold is valuable because we need it for for the electronics and stuff
Right.
like that.
And
So I
then
think gold, the interesting thing with gold, not to
no,
cut you off,
please
I
no.
think the interesting thing with gold is that we valued it differently throughout the ages, but
Mm.
we've always valued the living hell out of
Hmm.
it.
Like
So
diamonds
Yeah.
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Well, diamonds is mostly like diamonds is still a very recent thing, you know.
But then there's
Mm.
also, like it's chemical compounds, you know what I'm saying? Like scientifically speaking, gold is a truer metal than most metals.
Uh-huh.
Diamonds are, probably one of the hardest uh
Rock.
rock, if not one of the hardest, if not the hardest already.
Mm.
So yeah, they did have value that we put on them because they shiny, because the colors and what they might represent.
Mhm.
But they're also, what I'm saying, like heavy metals. Gold especially, it's a heavy metal, but it's also malleable. Like you
Hmm.
can change it in different ways. It's like pliable,
Mhm.
even though it's heavy.
Mm.
So that there are certain qualities to these gems and minerals that like go beyond how they look. You know what I'm saying? That adds
Hmm.
value to it as well. So
Interesting.
I can imagine the early times they probably didn't have the tools to test, you know what I'm saying,
To
how,
test what they
you
can do
know,
with it.
Hmm.
but it's interesting that, you
That's
know,
cool.
so
Yeah. So let's talk about something interesting. You said you were in
You don't,
LA.
you don't think the gold and the African diamonds and all that's interesting?
It is
oh,
interesting, but
I'm
at the end
kidding.
of
I'm playing with you.
no, it is interesting, but at the end of the day, you know
Yeah.
what? Like how much value we put on things sometimes is just like it's a little bit too much.
It's actually terrifying.
Yeah.
It's
To the point where
terrifying.
like, a lot of people are dying for that stuff.
Yeah, it's
mhm.
terrifying what
You know
we're
what I mean?
willing to do over, like, especially when you know when you're talking about value of gold and we compare it to the value of soul. Like
That's what I mean.
it's the fact that
Or
we're
value of
willing
dreams. So
value of dreams. Yeah,
let's talk about dreams for a second.
yeah.
So you said you were
Okay,
in,
okay, cool.
so you said you were in LA.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So what were you doing in LA? I mean, what brought you into LA? I know like somehow you just said it. You're in the critic,
I'm in
you're a
the film
film
world.
critic.
Yeah.
What else again?
So what are all the things I do?
No, you already said it. I mean,
Yeah,
like, what
yeah.
were you doing in LA?
Oh
Tell us,
yeah.
man. I mean, I want to know.
I
We
was
want to know.
okay. I was
Yeah,
part of the Critics' Choice.
they want to know.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I was part of the Critics' Choice Association's award show. Well, not part of the show, but I'm a voting member of the Critics'
Okay.
Choice Award. So so we held our reception on oh my God, now I'm drawing blank, but it was last Sunday pretty much, or 2 Sundays before that. I'm not even sure at this point. And pretty much yeah, I got to attend the ceremony and just be there with the people that I voted for.
So
Nice.
so I saw like you had a picture with was it Carrie?
Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Cheryl? No, there were many of them. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, Cheryl Lee Ralph was
yeah.
one. Seth Rogen,
Uh-huh.
Giancarlo Esposito for the people who watch Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Odenkirk who plays Saul.
Mm.
Tanya Taylor Joy was there too. Yeah,
Mm.
I got to meet some pretty cool people, man.
That's pretty dope, man.
Thank you, man.
How'd you like, get into all of this? Like, I know
Jeez.
when you at the top of the show when you're introducing yourself, you listed a bunch of things. All of it, however, I think it's in the realm of media
Yeah,
and what I'm
media.
saying, sort of entertainment. I guess you say you're 30 years old right now.
Yeah, I am.
Mashallah, you don't look a day over 25. You know what I'm saying? But like, how did you get into that? Like, when did you know you wanted to do something like this? Did you know you wanted to, like, this is exactly how it turned out, or did you just have did you have a specific idea when you were younger, or did you have a more broader idea, general sense of what you wanted to be in? Did this just come about? Like,
I think I always knew deep down that I was meant to do something entertaining.
okay.
Growing up, like in school, I was always the class clown.
Mm-hmm.
Like was the guy doing like the stupidest thing for attention.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
And trying like to keep it because I just hated school.
Right.
I just thought that the best part about school was recess.
Mm.
Oh,
So me,
yeah.
I'm a guy like that's what I prefer about
Hey
life.
man,
Like
you're
just
preaching to the choir
yeah,
here.
you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I think I always knew that for me to enjoy work, I would have to do something that's fun,
Enjoyable. Yeah.
enjoyable, and I find entertainment enjoyable, like a lot of people.
Was that a dream though? Was it a dream for you?
It wasn't. Well, I didn't allow it to be a dream until my 20s, I would say,
Hmm.
because before,
Expand on that just a little bit before you kind of get it.
yeah,
What do you mean? I didn't allow it to become a dream. Like, was it something that
Were you
you were
delaying your dreams?
fighting like against?
I
Like,
think it's just because I didn't really know who I was, and I spent a lot of time like
Mm.
trying to please other people and trying to be a
Right.
version of myself that
Mm.
was more digestible. You
Right.
know what I mean? I was trying to be like I was a banker when I left my job to go pursue my passion. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think for me it was mostly um, I think it was mostly accepting the fact that the person that I really wanted to become
Hmm.
had nothing to do with the path that I was on, which in and of
Right.
itself is very terrifying to do because everybody
Absolutely.
knows you as a guy that's going one way,
Mhm.
and then you're making a jump and you know what I mean? Like
And you sort of like
I'm working for
reinventing yourself a little
exactly
bit. You
reinventing
know,
yourself, becoming a completely
and then in
different
front of
person.
other people, like
In front of the
while
world.
people are watching, you're reinventing
Absolutely,
yourself.
and yeah. So and the way it started for me, eventually, I I started reviewing movies on Snapchat out of all platforms.
Nice.
You know, I don't even be
Mhm.
on Snapchat like that no more. I don't even know if it's still a thing.
Mhm.
Apparently, it is.
Apparently, okay, bet.
Actually, I've never been on there.
No, you never been
According to
Snapchat?
recent polls, yes, Snapchat is still a thing.
So yeah, so I started by reviewing movies on Snapchat,
Mm.
and Eventually, it was just like very cheesy the way I would do it. I would like put the poster of the movie, and then I would go
Right.
like, "Hey everybody, so my
Right,
name
right,
is blah, blah,
right,
and I'm
right.
about to
Mm-hmm.
talk about blah, 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 So
So when you look back on those, like,
yeah,
how do you feel about it?
I think it's cool, man.
Right, right, right. But do you ever like look back on, you trying to like, what I'm saying, try something new? Do you ever have those like awkward cringe moments
For
looking back at
sure,
your stuff?
because one of the most cringiest thing is the fact that I didn't when I started that career. I'm from Quebec, right, and I
Mm-hmm.
grew up I spent most of my time in Quebec in two different areas
Okay.
that were predominantly French, hence the
Mm-hmm.
accent.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was like very like anti-English, like that's how
Right,
French
right,
it
right.
was.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
when I wanted to start this passion, first of all, I didn't even speak English. I was
Right.
like 23 years old. I had to learn English on the
Hmm.
spot. You know
Yeah,
what I
That's
mean?
I hear
crazy.
you.
Because but that's when I knew I was really passionate by it, because I
Right,
was like,
right,
yeah,
right.
I'm about to master a whole language
Mm-hmm.
that we consider second language in school, and that,
Right.
as far as we were concerned at the time when I was growing up, you're never gonna need English for whatever, because you live in Quebec and you're going to stay in
Right.
Quebec. You're not gonna do anything. You know what I mean? So
Like that was the mentality
that
there.
was the mentality that I
Right.
had, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have this dream to make it to Hollywood. I'm like, well, I better learn how to spell Hollywood. You know?
So now you
That's
made it. Now
funny.
you made it to Hollywood, right?
Yeah,
So what's next? Because a lot of people, like
yeah,
like they have many dreams. Some people
yeah,
I have many dreams.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have many dreams. I don't know what your dreams are, but
Countless.
countless dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So now you made it to Hollywood.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well,
What's the
now,
next dream? Oh.
now what happened is I've lost the ability to conceptualize that something can be done and is impossible.
Mm.
And
Is that a bad thing?
no, I don't think it's a bad thing at
Right.
all.
I agree.
And for me, it's mostly like realizing that my life doesn't have to be defined by one dream. I can have multiple,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and my life can be defined by multiple dreams. So
And
now,
like anything can be done.
and anything can be done.
Right.
So now it's like, okay, well, I've proven to myself that I
Mm-hmm.
can try something and accomplish it to the highest.
Hmm.
For a film critic, there's no higher level than Hollywood. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's you can't go any higher than that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Once you've been around, like I met Martin Scorsese, I met Al Pacino, I've had
Sick.
all that. You
Sick.
can't like plateau. The best thing, I
Mhm.
mean, building a bigger audience, maybe, you know
Sure.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
But for me, it was
exactly.
more of a personal thing than I'm trying to get famous type of
Hmm.
thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So now that I know, okay, famous, first of all, is not what I chase.
Right.
It's literally like my happiness, that satisfaction of,
Mhm.
whoa, I've done something that
Interesting. You see how you just mentioned happiness. I spent some times in the music business too as a promoter.
I did that.
Yeah,
Music business. Ugh.
and I work with some big artists.
Mm-hmm.
Now the funny thing is that was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was one of my dreams. So what was my biggest dream? I'm living it now actually.
Nice.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Maybe it becomes so natural to me, like it's no longer a dream.
Is it something that can even be put into words, or is it
Well,
just
we can, but what it is
we just
freedom.
gotta trust that
Freedom.
you're
No, I
living
mean, like
your
it's freedom. It's freedom. It's freedom
right,
from
right,
all the
right.
pain and suffering that some people are going through. Like I was going through,
Mm,
like mental
that's
pain,
dope.
like
Right,
emotional
right.
pain, like soul pain, all those pain. Like
Yeah.
breaking free from that for me. That's a dream come true.
Do you find that what you're doing and what you plan to do in the next stage of your life are things that are going to make you happy? Like what are you pursuing? Like, so you're not pursuing money, you said.
No.
Are you pursuing happiness? Are you pursuing accomplishments, success?
I think
A multi, like a
I'm a kind of man who really finds confidence within my accomplishments.
right. And
That's
I think a lot of men are like
I
that.
think that's masculinity in general. Like
Mhm.
you're born in this world as men,
Mhm.
like we're born without much value within. Well, your
Seeing
mother,
like the positive effect of
exactly.
your actual sweat and energy and
until
effort.
you see the results of
Right.
that manifesting into the world,
Mhm.
you don't know how much of a man you are.
Mhm.
You know what I
And
mean?
really, for us, it's like it's a very simple thing. Like like you get out what you put in, kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I remember one time you said that, oh, we shouldn't push the happiness. We should push the balance.
That's per my
And that's
that
you.
actually,
That's where you
my
stand.
personal
actually, that was
philosophy.
going to be my answer to you. Like
Mm.
I'm pursuing peace.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm pursuing things that bring peace to my soul.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I can feel the disalignment when I'm doing something and I'm not really supposed to be doing it,
See,
because
that's a
I guess
beautiful feeling,
I guess this
fam.
itch.
Mm.
Like,
Mhm.
even like I'll be doing something, telling myself like, okay, I can settle here and just do that and not worry about it. But then I start getting this itch,
Right.
and I can't scratch it
Right.
until I just go ahead and do it. And that's just me as a person.
Mhm.
That's why I know like I have. It's to me, it's not even like um it does not my dream making my dreams come true is not even just a goal. It's actually a responsibility to my well-being. I
Absolutely.
have to do that, you know.
And-
So
and-
now,
will that bring you peace though? I mean, like by achieving those dreams, will that bring you peace by achieving those
yeah,
outside?
I
I
think
call them
so.
outside achievements.
Well, I think there's a lot to this, you know, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong. This is how I understand it, right? Is number one, you know, effort translating into positive result. You know, saying that you manifest something and you have an idea, you come up with a plan, you execute it, and then you observe the results. You know, saying and how close it is to your plan. That's number one. And we touched on accomplishments. You know, number two is like when we're talking about pursuing balance. I feel like if you pursue balance long enough, you know what I mean, and you're always just trying to like keep yourself like in a centered space, you feel me, that anytime that you start to deviate from that in any aspect of your life, some sort of itch, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying, comes over you. So like it's sort of like
that's when I lose my peace.
right. It's like the spidey senses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's when I
a
lose
little
my-
bit of an alarm that goes
Yeah.
off. So like to be in tune like that is such a powerful like what I'm saying tool and like what I'm saying thing to have in your arsenal. You feel me? And number three, at the end of the day, what do you call it? If you do something that you love, like you can hardly call it work.
Yeah,
Either,
I
you know what I'm
like that
saying?
you said that because one thing I now I can recognize it, but for the longest time, people would walk up to me and say, "The reason, Dom, the reason why you are where you are in life, the reason why you've achieved all these great things is because of how hard you work." And sometimes I feel guilty hearing that because I don't recall working.
Right.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like,
No, you just
I
keep
don't-
that to yourself, man. You just keep
I
that to
no,
yourself.
but the thing is that
Right.
in retrospect, I did work. Not only
Right.
did I work hard
You
and
just
a
happen
lot.
to love
I
it
just
at the same
happened to
time.
love the
Okay,
process.
so you're working hard. Did you have any breakdowns?
Absolutely, man. I quit. Like,
Because I remember
quit like
having a lot
twice.
of breakdowns.
I don't.
I quit
I
like
don't
twice.
think. Yeah, I don't think it's
I
the
made a
right
whole-
thing to do
I-
if you did not have a
No,
breakdown.
no, no. Yeah, I had a whole post talking about like, yo, I am quitting, guys. I
I'm
am done.
done.
You know, but for multiple reasons. I don't know if
Right.
you want to dive into the reason for the breakdowns.
Hey, this is what we're here for, fam.
It was predominantly like number one, fear.
Sure.
Because you're pursuing something that has no guarantee of happening. Like
Mm.
people, that's the reason why sometimes people. I feel I think there's a difference between OGs and old heads,
Sure.
you know, and I think that's the reason why old heads get mad at young cats,
Right.
because you'll have old heads who've been doing the same thing for like
Right.
so many
They're
years.
so much more pragmatic,
You
and
know what I mean?
practical.
And then you see somebody like twice as young as you, like just running laps around you.
And
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
because the old head, starts to feel a little bit resentful
Yeah.
that this young guy is taking leaps of faith that he was too afraid to do.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So absolutely, but then it's also like, and that young guy is seeing the result of the work that he did, and you might have put in the same grind, but it didn't happen to you.
you
So
know-
what I'm saying is that they talk about luck, right? And like luck is opportunity, is
Absolutely.
preparation.
Right.
And the thing is that I'm aware that I was blessed with opportunities that I
Sure.
prepared myself for.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? I'm
mhm.
aware,
Or the people before you
made possible for me.
made
Paved
the
that,
way.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you gotta,
And
we
then
gotta show
to learn
respect to
from their
those people.
mistakes,
Yeah.
and seek counsel and wisdom from them, and ultimately kind of like distilling everything that you've learned from other people's and their experiences, distilling that into your own
Yeah.
formula. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, I could take all of my father's lessons, but if I do not apply them in a manner that makes sense to me with my reality, then his wisdom is useless to me.
Exactly.
This is what interesting about dreams. When you have dreams, a lot of people make it possible for you to live that dream.
Hmm.
I mean, like not just your own effort.
Absolutely, the universe conspires.
Yeah,
To
I believe that.
We gotta-
I believe the universe.
we gotta thank the trees for oxygen. We're gonna thank the.
Have you guys read the book The Alchemist? It's a very popular
Yeah, it's
book.
my favorite book of all
Yes,
time.
And yeah, it's a book that I feel like I have to read.
Paulo Coelho.
I have to
Paulo
read like
Coelho.
Paulo Coelho I have to read it like 3-4 times a year just to continue to like remotivate myself. You know what I mean? To remind myself that what your calling is. The universe is trying to help you do that. You know what I mean? It's just like there's a lot of people who block their blessings. You know what I mean?
Correct. So you gotta make room.
But to get, because I don't want to lose my train of thoughts,
Mhm.
because we're talking about the breakdowns, right?
Mhm.
And I had moments where fear would block me,
Sure.
pain would block me, insecurity, because you see people
Mhm.
who've done it longer than you, it hasn't happened to them. Why is it
Right.
gonna happen to me?
Right.
And then every time I try to quit, man, something happens that forces me to keep going in a way
Every
that's
time I try to
unimaginable.
leave, something keeps pulling me back, me back.
You
You
know?
know what I'm
So
saying?
pretty much,
So
no.
who's the singer again?
That's Tyrese, man.
Tyrese.
What do you want from me?
No, so pretty much during my breakdowns, what I
Mm.
discovered is pretty much is that the universe is conspiring to make things
Right,
happen
because
for
like
me.
it's literally drag. You get no. Oh no, you don't.
Bro, I quit media
Mhm.
as a whole in
Okay.
2019
Mm.
because I was like, man, it's time for me to get a real job.
Sure.
It's time for me to, I can't just be out here, especially if something bad happens in my life, like,
Mhm.
illness, breakups, or, I don't know, like just
Sure.
losing insurance of income. I don't have anything to fall back
Sure.
on.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was like, man, but I'm so fragile in this world. I need something solid. And then I
Absolutely.
said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna focus on life. I've had a good run in media. I'm done.
Mm.
I'm gonna move on with my life and focus on something else. And 2 months later, I made it to Hollywood for the first time.
Wow.
And I was like, what? I got a call from Netflix talking about like, yo, actually, we would like to personally invite you to Hollywood
That's what's
on
up.
our dime. Like,
That's what's up.
That's the thing with
see?
dreams.
Do you see the universe?
Don't you see
conspiring?
God? You know what I'm saying?
I didn't
Like,
apply for nothing. I didn't apply for nothing. I
Right.
didn't ask
But
for
you're
nothing.
literally being recognized for
So-
your passion, your effort, your dedication,
Yeah.
all those failures and moments of breakdown, and really like opportunity meets preparation. You've been
Yeah.
preparing for it all your life. You know what I'm
So,
saying?
so that's the things with dreams.
deep,
So
man.
a lot of people are like they're going through the steps of pursuing the dreams,
Mm-hmm.
but somehow all the fear, all the setbacks,
Insecurities.
insecurities, and then you have like criticism.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Absolutely.
major one.
Criticism is
And
good.
and
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of
And
people
then-
fear success too.
Of course.
You know?
I fear it.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
fear
people
it.
fear.
I fear it.
So-
I fear
yeah.
it.
So-
When I meet,
Like
when I
you
accomplish
could be too
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. No, I fear that. I
Yeah.
fear that for two reasons. First of all, I have a big fear of abandonment. It is
Sure.
what it is. Where
That's developed in the womb,
Yeah,
fam.
yeah.
It's
I have
a
a big fear of
mankind thing.
abandonment, and I know that the greater I am, the more I feel lonely.
Sure.
That's what life has taught me. You know what I mean? So I always had that fear of being too great.
Right.
But also, like, I've also recognized that there's an insecurity within myself with the concept of greatness. I just started embracing it lately, especially having been in the presence of greatness not too long ago. And I've come to realize that when people call my accomplishment greatness, when they call it success, it intimidates me. Because success to me sounds like a final product. Success to me sounds like the final line. You know what I mean? Like, this is the finish line. You have achieved success. I don't feel like I have. Even so when people call me a successful man, I really don't feel like one. I can see how in their eyes it could be interpreted that way, but the idea that I've somehow achieved or arrived where I'm supposed to be and that this is it, that scares me. I love the
that
journey.
should be scary.
I love the journey too much
that's-
for the journey to end.
I
And when
totally
people call
agree.
it success, I'm like, no, please don't
No,
call it that.
I
So
think
do fear
success. I think
fear it.
I think success, or at least my version of success, is the ability to continue to hustle. The ability to
Yeah.
continue to be on the
Maintain it.
journey. The moment I feel like success ends and the downfall starts is the moment you feel like you've made it somewhere.
So
The
that-
moment you've
Yeah,
reached
because now the climb is over and
Because,
you only
okay,
can do is
now-
float back down.
now-
the top
success-
of one mountain is the bottom of another. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now success itself, is it the accomplishment of something, of a project? Or it is something that you realize within yourself that
I don't know. You know why I can't answer that question?
Yeah.
Is because the title success, bro, has never been something that I've applied upon myself. It was also some sort of external validation that I didn't
Sure.
need. So I don't know how to answer that. I really don't know. Because me, again, I'm chasing happiness and peace. So I know that if if I'm at peace tomorrow, then my day was successful. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
If
Okay,
I've
so
avoided, if I didn't mess up something,
mm,
if I didn't screw up like a friendship or a relationship or whatever, then that is successful to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
so what exactly the peace that you're seeking? What does it look like?
the peace.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think the peace that I'm seeking that I'm seeking is a peace where I wake up every day doing what I love, not having concern for what I hate.
Mm.
Being the captain of your own ship,
Yeah,
So
steering wherever you
that's the
want to
type of
go.
peace. So there's the ultimate peace
but
that
it's free from hate. To me,
That's
peace is
beautiful.
free from hate.
That's beautiful.
Being at peace means you're free from hate, free
Free
from hate
from,
of of others, but of self too.
yeah,
The-
comparing yourself to other
yeah,
people and
yeah.
feeling like
You're not
you're
enough.
bound,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, by your circumstances.
not recently I was telling to you, I was telling that to you like off the record. I just got a message from somebody talking about um uh something that I might have done wrong or
Mhm.
something like it's not. It's just like it's bringing up a situation where I haven't talked to the person enough to dissect that where I
Hmm.
might have been in the wrong.
Mhm.
Before I found peace, bro, I would have like beaten myself over it like a
Right.
thousand times, like really,
Sure.
and just dive into just
Spiral, just
a
a
spiral
downward
of
spiral.
despair.
Sure.
Now the way I look at it is very like, damn. Okay, well, if I'm in the wrong, I have the tools within myself to fix it.
Mhm.
Sure.
If I can't fix it, I have the tools within myself to learn from it and make
Mm-hmm.
amends within
Mhm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's peace.
Mhm.
You know, so and I think it's more important to chase that than
Mm-hmm.
to chase success. It's just I think success and all these things and money and and the fame and the
Sure.
woman chasing you.
But
I
that's like
think
superficial.
I think it's superficial,
Very
but I think this is
shallow.
just a result, a shallow result of
Mm-hmm.
being in that of vibrating in that frequency.
So
Sure.
the peace I know, there's a type of peace I know. So
Tell us
that
about it.
peace is like it's ultimate. Once you have it, you have it.
Hmm.
You can never lose it. This is
Okay.
what a lot of people call enlightenment.
I need that
Cause
because
I'm
my
usually
biggest fear is
I'm
losing
in
my
and out.
peace.
Yeah, I'm in and out of peace. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I'm in and
so
out of
yeah,
that.
so like okay, so it's true. Sometimes you gotta chase your dreams. Yes, success is possible. We gotta challenge yourself to go
Sure.
out there and then like face the world
Mm-hmm.
and see what we can make out of it. That's part of the journey
Sure.
to that peace that we're all seeking. Everybody's seeking the same. That's one piece. There's only one piece. There's not two pieces. That one
Deep.
piece is
I
ultimate. It's
like
like
that.
eternal peace.
Mm-hmm.
So that peace is with you once you recite, once you attain that state of, which is a state of consciousness. Once you achieve that, it is eternal. You can never lose it.
Mm.
You will move through life. You will chase dreams. Like you might have dreams, but
Cause it's like learning something new. You can never unlearn it. You're saying.
it's
Is
all
it?
it's all about
I think you can compromise it still, though. I think
Mm-hmm.
I hear what you're saying, but I have a hard time believing. Again, a hard time believing because I haven't achieved that. So take that for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But I have such a hard time believing that peace cannot be compromised. Like that's my biggest fear right now. Is I've achieved a level in life of again not success, but a level of peace
Mm-hmm.
that I refuse to compromise. I'm afraid to compromise, and I know that other people are not necessarily what could compromise that peace. I know it's pretty much like myself.
Really
You know
and
what I
truly,
mean?
it's
It's
always
really
always gonna
if,
be you.
if I mess it up, it's on me. You know.
But then
What
that's
I'm
also
afraid of.
like that's a healthy fear because it keeps you like it keeps like
Keeps you in check.
yeah, it keeps you in check.
Yeah.
And
Can
you we
fear
all
ever be
need
healthy?
hell
Come
yeah.
on, come on,
Hell
Yeah.
man.
yeah.
Fear is
I
healthy. Yeah.
love a healthy level of fear. It's so important. And listen, it's a humbling factor too. You know what I'm saying? Like if you walk around not fearing nothing, yo, then you're heartless, brother.
Hold on.
I feel like you're
Come
I
heartless.
know
on.
before because I feel like you're about to object in a profound way, but I want to add on to what he said. You can object to both of us.
Yes, go
I
ahead.
think if you're not even if you're not even afraid of yourself, not even a little bit, then chances are you don't know yourself that well.
Seriously, here's the thing. You have to like okay, for example, you know, I'm a father. You know what I'm saying? Automatically, with that comes a package of fear. You know what I mean?
Out of
Like
fear, you might have to die or kill.
dire kill,
Mhm.
or you know, just the simple, you know, my kid, you know what I'm saying, get sick. You know what I'm saying? Like and you know, not and feeling hopeless, like you can't. You know when someone's sick and like you just all you can do is be there for them. Like you can provide medicine, you can provide comfort, but ultimately, you know what I'm saying, it's not up to you. You know what I'm saying? That like it's something that yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's for me, I believe, everything is part of God's plan, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But men by nature, men fear what they don't understand.
Oh,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
Well,
So
yeah.
it's like
Well,
I have a big fear of the unknown. That's for sure. The
absolutely,
unknown scares
like
me.
okay,
I don't
okay.
fear.
Now we're
For
getting
example,
somewhere.
I tell people I don't fear death. I fear what comes after.
yeah, because
You
death
know,
is
because
really just
death is
another
just
transition
it's a
point.
thing.
It's a doorway, really.
You know, it's a thing too.
Hmm.
We're all gonna die.
But death,
You know,
death represents what comes after.
That part scares me because
Only to the people who even believe that there's something after.
Now,
There's some people who live believe
now,
that it's
you were nothing
Mhm.
before you were born. You live, and then
There's
you
no-
will be nothing
there's no
after.
meaning to anything. Your life will not have amount to anything.
not like
I'm
that, though.
claustrophobic. Just
Not
that
like that.
makes me like take a
Not,
deep
not
breath.
like that, though.
Claustrophobic.
I swear to God, I have a fear of small spaces.
Now, okay, now, do you think other people are afraid the fact that they might not achieve their dreams while they're alive?
Oh, that's
I think that's the fear that motivates me the most, man. Because I want to leave this. My mentor Kevin Bourne. You've met him at Kingdom Culture, actually. Shifter magazine. Yeah.
right.
He. We were having this conversation. Um, and because we're a duo, we do everything. Most of our projects, we think that we're KB and Don. That's besides Shifter, we're KB and Don, and we talk a lot about how we're we want to leave this world on empty. We want to leave this world with the satisfaction that we've done anything we could have
Everything possible.
accomplished. You know what I mean?
So hold on
In
a second,
every
guys.
lead.
Hold on a
So the
That
second.
you
fear now.
didn't lose
Earlier, hold on.
anything,
Hold on
right?
a second. Earlier, we were talking about gold. We were talking about like Congo, right?
Right. Yeah, the
So,
golden Congo, exactly.
do you guys think some people might have the dreams of collecting so much gold to the point where they don't care how many people they kill or how many like
Sure.
you
I
know
mean,
like
I
because
don't
can dreams sometimes be
bad,
yeah
negative. Yeah. I
mm,
mean,
I
like
think your dream is go ahead, sorry, my bad.
no, no. Very quickly, I was gonna say I don't like to quote Drake.
mm.
You know what I mean? Shout outs to the boy. You feel me? But yo, one of his lines early on, he said, "Yo, just enough will solve your problems. Too much will kill you." And again, back to the pursuit of balance. You feel me? Like too much of anything. Too
Yeah.
much of anything. Too even water, something like water.
Can kill
This
you.
is the life giving thing
Can poison you.
can poison you. You know what I'm saying? Water poisoning is a real thing. So like really anything in excess, I think it's the concept of excess, you know what I mean? That should provide like the boundaries for us, like when you're on, a highway, there's guardrails, there's the median that protects, or actually separates, one direction from the other. You know what I mean? Like there should be safeguards in life. You know what I mean? One of these safeguards, I believe, is healthy fear. You know what I mean? Healthy love. Healthy concerns. Healthy. Saying happiness. Like there's people who just like pursue happiness. Above everything else. You know what I'm saying? And imagine, your happiness now is more important than, your kid's education or something.
Okay, now
You know what I'm saying?
where are
Like,
you with your dreams?
where am I with my dreams?
Yes.
I'm still alive. You know what I'm saying? What do you call it? And
I like that.
I'm still alive. Every single day is the death of the yesterday, and it's like a newness. You know what I mean? For me, I'm working on like being present. You know what I'm saying?
I like that you said that.
You feel me?
My issue is I live
So
in the past a little too much.
well, you know what I'm saying?
live in
Like
the past a little too
I
much.
I can only be at this place now if I come from a place where I was fearing the past too much. Of course, you know what I'm saying? You should look back on things or else you're doomed to repeat it. You know what I'm saying? But to look back on it too much and to dwell, then you're not here, you're there, in a time that doesn't exist.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
I need to apply that to my
But
life.
hold on,
man.
to answer your question,
go ahead, yeah.
where am I with my dreams? I feel like it's like it's like halftime, you know what I'm saying, in the NBA finals. You feel me? I tried a couple of, different, what I'm saying, strategies and game plans. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. Ultimately, what I'm saying, I let frustration, take over, and I found myself down at half. Now I feel like the second half just started. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And my coach My coach was Denzel Washington from Remember the Titans. You know what I
That's a
mean?
good coach. That's a good
Right.
coach.
That's Coach Boone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he just fired me up. You know what I'm saying? And now I know very crystal clear exactly what I want to do at the stage, how to do it, and I'm just working on the patience. You know what I mean? Because I'm such a passionate person. That's one of the things I have to control in my life. My passion. I dive headfirst into things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
First into
And I'm
passion.
also very easily distracted. So I'm working on discipline. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm not officially diagnosed, but every time somebody describes what ADHD is, I'm like, yo,
I I am ADHD, and I can tell you that like the thing is that there's it's becoming more common now. I think there's levels to ADHD,
Sure.
but I think it's that we're also in a generation where a 5 minute commercial is distracting too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like so we're more prone to it. Where a lot of
Sure.
people have developed ADHD traits. They
Wow,
might not
that's crazy.
be
Yeah.
ADHD,
Yes,
but they
yes,
because
yes,
I was
yes.
talking to a group of people not too
Very
long ago about
important,
how
right.
discipline is the key to achieving your dreams. Like
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm blessed and lucky that I my biggest issue is lack of discipline. You know what I mean? And I'm just, if I'm not passionate by something, I lose the discipline that, and it's this discipline that keeps you going, because passion is fleeting. It comes and goes. In a relationship,
So
passion comes and goes.
So like we were just talking about the alchemist, right? And one of the things that the alchemist says, like the concept of the story, is that the universe will show you, you know what I'm saying, first what it is that you're meant for, your calling, and then it'll take it away. Now that you know what it tastes like, it's like beginner's luck. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now that you know what it tastes like, now you have to now that you know what it's like,
Okay. You know what?
now that you have to
Okay.
achieve it.
I
So
wanna-
I've been there. I've had that little taste. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I was rubbing shoulders with. I was, like I found myself in spaces where I was doing some big things.
Yeah.
Was taken away.
Okay, to answer your question, when you say where I'm at with my dreams, you feel like you're in the second half of the game. I feel like I just got drafted to the NBA. That's how I feel.
That's
I
what's
feel
up.
like I
That's
just
what's
got
up.
drafted, and now it's like, okay, well, how will they remember me in the NBA now? With like a guy that sat on the bench and didn't
No.
shoot one shot,
Right.
or a guy that actually
Worked his ass
went
off,
and won
MVP.
rings. You know what I mean?
Okay, now-
So that's where I'm
That's
at with
what's
my
up.
Now,
dreams.
That's
now,
what's
now I
up.
want to share my part.
Let's
You talk about the present. You're trying to be in the present.
in the present.
Now
in the
you
moment.
said you're seeking peace.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, in the present moment,
That's where peace
there
is.
is no fear.
Sure. Sure.
That's true.
Absolutely. By definition.
Wow, by definition.
By that.
Yeah,
So-
that's true.
So the present moment is the only place really you can find total freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Living in the past or thinking about dreams and playing for the future and things.
Because fear is only for what's ahead.
Well, yeah,
You can't have fear
this
of
is why a
the
lot of
now.
people are living. They're experiencing a lot of anxiety
Mm.
because, for example, they're afraid of the unknown, right? They're afraid of what might happen. What they have.
Right. But like
lot
the
of
now is known because
The-
this
the-
is now.
So this is
You're
now.
here,
So
you
in this
see it.
present moment,
Mm-hmm.
a lot
That's
of-
very
everything-
interesting, man.
everything is balanced. Everything is complete. Even you are complete. You are complete.
Yeah.
Even
Right here, right
even
now.
to have
yeah.
dreams, it's not an aspect of the matrix. You shouldn't have dreams.
Right. That's crazy.
You should be living in the moment, live in the moment, do everything in the moment.
Because right now it's a dream for me.
Mhm.
Like
Mm.
no, it is. It
Imagine
is.
living in your dream.
In your dream,
I-
in the
I-
moment,
no, I
that's
talk
good.
to
That's
my
good.
friends
That's
about
good.
I
That's
talk to my
good.
friends about that sometimes, especially when we have really crazy great moments.
Right.
And I say like, bro, the most amazing thing about this moment is like the best times of our lives are happening right now, and we get to be here to live them. They didn't
Yeah.
happen yesterday.
Yeah.
They're not gonna happen tomorrow.
This is
They're
right
happening
now
right now.
thing,
Can
yeah.
you can you imagine how crazy that feel? Can you how crazy of a feeling that is?
That's
you know,
crazy,
it's
man.
yeah. Right now, this is a dream. Like I used to watch people do these podcasts and
Yeah.
have these conversations, these very insightful conversations. I'm a conversationalist.
Absolutely, me
I
too.
I learn from conversations.
Absolutely.
That's the best way for, but long formatted conversations, you know?
Right.
And I'm looking at a point where I'm in the space in my life where I am now relevant enough to be invited on to. I get invited on too many podcasts now.
Mm.
To have conversation. That
So
is the
so now you
dream.
have to be discerning. Now
Not
you
to
have to
discerning.
like.
Not for real. Because
Hmm.
some other stuff lower my vibration. I'm also
Absolutely,
know that I don't
absolutely.
say yes to. That's not. It's a pleasure to be here, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Because I
Welcome
don't say
anytime.
yes. Thank you, thank you. No, for real. And I would love to come back eventually too. Because I don't say yes to just
And
everything.
and that comes from like that's the result of that journey of like self knowledge, knowledge of self,
Yeah,
knowing who you are, where your vibrations is at, what you bring to the table, and then being aware of how you are different from your surroundings
that's
and
the part
how
that's
that.
tough for me. It's tough for
Well,
me.
I mean,
It's tough.
right,
It's tough. It's
sure,
really tough.
it has to be tough because
It's
first
tough.
you have to identify the surrounding
Hmm.
to know how it is different. So you saying that, I get invited to too many of these things, and you have to be discerning, pick and choose which ones, will elevate or you can elevate. So we'll either elevate you or you elevate it, or both, and which ones won't. You know what I'm saying? That can only come from you knowing who you are and then being able to identify, what I'm saying, what it is that this specific environment is.
Nice.
It's like a not it's as above so below kind of thing, as
Yeah.
inward so outward, like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
You mentioned something
Yeah.
before we started the filming. You said that you're 30, right?
Yeah. I'm 30 years
And
old.
then you mentioned something about achieving your dreams without, well,
Well, I
by
can talk about
while
that.
being single.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. While being single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So come on, why
Well,
why you choose to stay single so you can achieve
Right.
some of
So
your
so
dreams? I
so
mean,
make this
like,
connection for me
come on, like
between your
do the
dreams
transition for us. I
and
know.
and and your bachelorhood.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what
Well,
I'm
the thing,
saying?
I've
How are they
accepted.
connected?
I've accepted that. I've accepted the bachelor lifestyle. Let's just say
Mm.
I've grown into it. It's not something that I wanted, but
Mm.
I also told myself that if by the age of 30 I can achieve XYZ,
Mm-hmm.
I am staying single
Right.
and I'm living like a bachelor.
Mm.
And somebody was talking to me very recently, talking about it. You're too much romantic to be single. Like that's
Mm.
to stay single. Like that's sad.
Mm.
And I'm like, no, I think that's healthy.
Really and
I think
truly.
that's healthy
It,
So hold on, though.
yo,
because
imagine only being romantic with a partner.
that's
You
what
know what
I'm
I'm
saying
saying?
now. Because my thing is I romanticize the heck out of my life.
Right.
My life
Yes.
is romance.
Now,
Yes.
now are you ready to get into it?
Love it.
To get into a relationship,
Relationship? Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, it's one of those answers is like you hear everybody say that, like it would have to be a very special person
Right.
that I know for a fact. First of all, it will have to be someone I can't resist and someone
Doesn't get in your way.
that doesn't get in the way of what I want to do.
Mm.
Mm.
That's the two main prerequisites for
But
me.
is that why you're working though? Is that why you're working so hard so you can
I'm not working.
build?
I'm not working to. I'm not working to attract women. Like it's actually like the last thing on my mind.
I
To
mean
be
your
honest,
value. I mean your value. I
to
mean like
increase my value to myself.
yeah,
Honestly, man,
that's what I mean.
I don't even think about stuff like that. To be honest with you, it's one of the things where the moment I pay attention to that, even for a second, I get distracted from what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
And mhm.
interesting. You know, a lot of men, they are man, they lost track of the dreams because of distraction. Distraction by who? Woman.
Yeah,
Well, that's one of the forms of distraction,
Yeah,
to be honest. Sometimes distraction can also come from self. Even though you have a dream and you
absolutely.
have a goal,
Absolutely.
if you're not disciplined, you know what I'm saying, you're distracted by other shit. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm only saying this because I don't want to just put it all on women. You feel me? I think
No,
that
no, 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 I'm not saying
I
no,
think
no,
that
no, no.
men
I'm not saying that.
fumble.
I'm not.
No,
No, I
no,
didn't say it.
bless,
Oh
bless,
man,
bless,
I didn't
bless.
say that about women.
I don't want.
Not like that.
I don't want to say that. That's what you're saying. I'm
No.
saying that a lot of men,
Mm.
um, use these relationships in a wrong way.
Mm.
Relationships, I personally feel, are supposed to augment, enhance you. You feel me?
that's how I
So,
feel.
right?
But
So
remember
if
though.
if it stops you or derails you
Mm.
from what you want to do, then it's not the right relationship. If you use it as a crutch, then it's not the right relationship. If you use it to, seek power over somebody, it's not the right relationship. I feel like a lot of these relationships, you know what I'm saying, is people who use it in just, a
Absolutely,
wrong and
absolutely,
unhealthy
absolutely.
manner. You
And
feel
women
me?
they have their place too.
No, but
You know.
I think a woman would have replacing what I. For example, I'll bring up like a relationship that I was in
Mm.
when where the woman I was with told me it wasn't a legitimate concern for her. She was like, I don't see where I fit within your plans.
I
I'll
think that's fair.
that's super fair, and
Hmm.
eventually it led to this relationship falling apart
Right.
because the reality is, as much as I really wanted to be with that person, they didn't fit within the plans of what I'm
Sure.
doing.
Sure.
They couldn't contribute in a way that got me closer to that. And a man is the best in his relationship when he's at his happiest and the most
Hmm.
fulfilled within
Absolutely.
himself.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that for me, that like you said, it's a relationship supposed to augment you to
Enhance and
enhance
make better. Yeah.
what you have, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. But when you're vibrating on the frequencies that I'm vibrating at solo, most people that you, not just for relationship purposes, but most
Hmm.
people that you interact with,
Can't hang.
even
Mm-hmm.
if it's not consciously, even if it's not on purpose, they lower your vibration very
Oh,
quickly
I
Really
just by
see
so.
what you.
interacting
Sure.
with them.
Sure.
So ever since I came back from LA, people was like, "Oh, are you gone Hollywood?" I haven't gone Hollywood.
Hmm.
I just know that if I interact certain things with certain people, I'm gonna start fumbling what I got
Mm-hmm.
going on.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So for
Hmm.
me, it's like I would have to, like, I do see how a relationship would add value to my life in certain ways, but it just, I feel like when you're younger, especially as a man, if you're not as secure within yourself, if you haven't done certain things, if you haven't, overcome some sort of insecurity that you might have within yourself,
Right.
I feel like as a man, a relationship in your 20s, for example, you end up using these relationship as a clutch. You end up using
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
relationships in a very codependent way, in a
Right.
very,
Mm-hmm.
and they end up in these unhealthy, toxic patterns or
Right.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
But once you've, and I'm speaking from the perspective of a man, once you've achieved a certain level of, yo, I've done what I want by myself, and I don't need, then it becomes a want, not a need. So
Mm.
the moment I'm interacting with something and I'm not enjoying what I'm
Hmm.
dealing with,
Right.
it's literally adding displeasure into my life.
100%.
Did
That's
you?
the
I,
problem.
Did,
I I
That's the
like how you
problem.
said
That's
that. Yeah.
ultimately the reason why I'm single, is because the most part, like, relationships, they don't add much to my
Right.
life.
now,
Right.
did you know there is an actual truth to just stay away from women while you're achieving certain things?
I think it's
Mm.
important. I think every man, like, I'm gonna tell you something real quick before you
Mm-hmm.
dive into that. Like, during my, like, from age 19 to 23, I was out here,
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I lived
Right.
that. I'm saying, you know what I mean by out here?
Out
Like,
here.
I was out here. So I lived that very early,
Hmm.
but then I encountered something sort of like, I don't want to say traumatic,
Hmm.
but something that made me realize the reason, oh, I'm doing that for these reasons. And
Right.
once I discovered that truth again, like by the age of like 22,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm not living like that.
Right.
So,
From 22 all the way up to 27,
hmm.
I stayed single. And
Hmm.
people ask me, yo, when did you have time to do all that work? It's because from 22 to
Right.
27,
You're
I
focusing
was
on yourself.
single.
And
Yeah.
I
yeah.
was completely single, focusing on myself. You know
So
what I
there's a
mean?
spiritual truth to this.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual matter. It's not about really success or achievement.
Mm.
It's about preserving your
Your
energy,
your
your
energy, your
masculine
male
energy,
masculine energy.
because the females, man, I'm gonna have to say it,
Sure.
they need it.
Like you pouring into
Hmm.
them, like literally.
Because they need a lot of that. It's like they are like they're like a version of yourself.
Right.
But in order for them to thrive, they need you.
Right. You complete them.
Oh yeah,
You
I'm not
think
saying.
so?
Well,
Oh yes.
according to this, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
trying to understand.
Oh yes, I'm gonna tell you why. A female is a female a man? She's not a
No.
man. The qualities you have, she doesn't have them. The masculinity you have,
Right. Certain
But
qualities.
mhm.
but can an argument be made that as a man who doesn't have the qualities that are attributed specifically to a female, that technically I need her too?
Not like that. It's not that you need each other. Not like that. Not in the sense of
Okay,
needing.
okay, got you.
She can live on
That was the
her,
part that I wasn't sure. Okay,
where you can live on your own. A female cannot live on her own. Like it's very scientifically
I
proven.
get what you're saying. Okay,
So what I'm saying is like what you have, your confidence, your masculinity, they need that protection. They need that.
yeah,
They
yeah,
need they
yeah,
need that
yeah.
leadership of you from you.
I
Because
mean,
Because
I'm
most
I'm
not to
starting.
complete. I think that's why I was
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
confused with, not to complete but to complement.
Correct.
and to become an
And
absolute.
again,
Together.
that's the whole enhancing
Yeah.
and
This is why
augmenting.
marriage supposed to be a thing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yo,
There,
yo,
there we go.
do,
This is
do,
All right.
why.
Well, to be an absolute with the right one, I'll do
well,
it. Let's just move
yo,
on that.
imagine nowadays though. You feel me? Because now I could just imagine, my sister listening to what we're talking about right now and saying, "I don't need no man. I can do this, this, and that." And she's right. I feel like nowadays, women have had to take on more of a masculine role
Hmm.
because men have
Become weak. Say it. Say it.
become
Yeah.
weak, have
Say
lost
it.
their
Say it. Say it.
masculinity.
No,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
You know what they say? It's you heard that saying. It's becoming very popular nowadays.
Mm.
Hard time makes strong men.
Strong men make
easy
weak,
time.
easy
Easy
times.
time make
Okay,
weak
weak
men.
men and
Weak
weak
men
men.
make hard times, and hard
Exactly.
time make strong
Just that
men.
whole cycle. You feel me? So like women, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we were healthier in our dynamics, you feel me? Then I think there would really be less feminists. And not saying that, we need less feminists. I'm just saying the need for feminists arise because men are not, you know what I'm saying, paying attention to women's issues as much as they should be. You
Yeah.
feel me? So now it's like, okay, well, if we're not being represented, then we should represent ourselves. See, it was back in the day, women were, represented by men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was cool because everything was kosher. The division of tasks and all of that was understood.
You know what I
But the
find?
more that men have begun to get distracted within themselves, got off the beaten path, you know what I'm saying, started exploring all these different, you know what I'm saying, ways of living. Hey, to each his own. But now, you know what I'm saying, it left women to pick up that slack.
To fight
And
on
if
their
a
own.
woman has fought her for her success, her independence, now she's starting to see the sweetness of accomplishments and achieving, and like her whole life she's being told, and all of society is telling her you get paid less because you're weak and da da da.
And you
And
can't
now
do it because you're a woman.
and
That's
and you
kind of
can't do it
bullshit.
because you're a woman, but now she's doing it.
It's
And then
addictive. It's
she's
just yeah.
it's addictive. Now you're starting to like she's starting to feel like this masculine energy, and now she's looking at these men,
They're
you know
weak.
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
as weak. It's like,
But you know what
why would
happens?
you expect, you know what I'm saying, for a woman to respect you? You know what I'm saying?
You know what happens in these moments though. It's interesting because it makes you're right. It ends up creating a society where women are more masculine
Out of
out of
necessity.
necessity.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that I was explaining that when I was saying when I was 22 I made a decision in my life
Mm,
and I stuck to it. It's because I experienced something that changed me.
right.
And I was speaking to this girl. Do you know how hard it is for a man to not be a fuckboy? Like,
Mm,
especially someone of my style. I'm not saying I haven't done mistakes. You know what I mean?
right.
Like I've done a lot of mistakes, and I've said I want to be like this, and then I've acted in ways that completely contradicted that
Sure.
multiple times.
Yes.
I'm just a man.
We
But
are
that being
walking
said, you're
contradictions,
walking
just
contradiction.
humans in
Absolutely.
general. Yeah.
But at the same time, um, when I decided that I want to be a good man, you know how
Mm,
hard it is. Like the kind of man that you can lean on, with your femininity. Do you know how
sure.
hard it is? That
Mm-hmm.
means because this society, you look at somebody. You talked about Drake, right? Drake is someone I used to look up to until he dropped his last album, Her
Which one?
Loss.
Her loss?
Until he
I
dropped the
love that
album,
album.
you loved
I
it.
love it, man.
Well, I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
tell
much
you.
about
Listen,
Drake, but I've
in
seen
terms of
him. But
music content,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
is great.
What was it?
21,
What was
can you
it?
do
Yeah.
some for me?
Okay.
What was it was the
Mm,
content because Drake is 36 years old. What do
mm,
you mean? Drop
what,
some
what, what,
bars
what,
for my pussy ex for me. You're 36 years old. How you 36 and you're talking about your exes
No, no,
like
no,
that,
no,
bro?
no, no.
What kind of
There was something that I heard. There was something that Drake said, you know what I'm saying? And not too much on, like, I'm not trying to even make this too much about it, but it was a trilogy. The Her Loss was the third piece of the trilogy, you know what
I
I'm saying?
don't
So,
believe that, but
you know?
no, because it's Drake is an internet nigga. Like
Okay, okay, okay. I mean, I get it. Could have just been capped too, you know
yeah,
what
no,
I'm
it's
saying?
one of those things where if he saw it online and it matched how he feel, he'd be like, yeah, I did that. He plays internet
Yeah,
games.
but yo, they killed him on this album.
They did. But that's what you do. You play
But
internet.
I've enjoyed it.
You play internet games. You get
Yeah,
you get
you win
internet
internet prizes.
But what I'm
Exactly.
saying is that I'm looking at someone like Drake, right? And the reason why I'm saying like I don't look up to him the same way
Mm,
is because once the men have achieved, we talk about achieving our dreams, men, we develop confidence
mm-hmm.
and our masculinity reaches its peak once we're able to actually manifest our reality into this world.
Sure.
That's what makes us feel like okay, we're and that's what
Right.
brings our value up.
Absolutely.
But the thing is that once you do that, this society also rewards that with nonsense.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So that
So now
brings you
that you're at
down.
that level,
Mm-hmm.
now you can sleep with all the women that you
Because yo,
want.
yo,
Now you can have access to. Now everybody's like, you know what I mean? It rewards you in such a stupid
Right.
way that what ends up happening is that when women do encounter these guys that achieve something due to that pure masculine, these guys are doing some stupid shit. You know, so pretty much, I guess what I'm saying is that for a lot of women, the dating pool is just freaking whack. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right. I'm so on behalf
We're
of all.
sorry, ladies.
I'm so sorry.
and
Damn.
the ones who are not whack or who are not like who have all these qualities
Mhm.
end up being I find like people who for whatever reason decides not to be in relationships. You know what I
Right,
mean? I'm not talking
like
about
But isn't
myself in that
protect
sense,
my peace
but
kind of
protect, but
thing.
because like I'm not putting myself in that category per
And
se,
and
but
and I feel like because there are so many like not real men, you know what I'm saying, is that the few real men that are here, they might feel like there's a lot more extra pressure, you know what I'm saying, like to hold it down
they're
for
holding down
the
for them.
manhood, you know what I'm saying.
And not just that, but yes, but also when I was talking to you about that situation where this person messaged me because I might have said something or done something that was
Mhm.
wrong, and I wasn't sure. For as someone who tries to achieve greatness, it's like I cannot not care about my own fuck ups.
Of
You know what I
course, of
mean?
course.
So it's like if I do something foolish, something that contradicts who I'm trying to be
Mhm.
like as a man who tries to reach for the greatest, highest version of myself,
Mhm.
it hurts, and the guilt and the shame hits a lot more when you know how great you can be.
Well,
Some people don't.
it's
People
in
who
the
don't strive for greatness, they don't have to worry about that because they're like,
exactly.
I'm a low hanging fruit. I
Right,
don't.
right, right.
There's no expectations to be had of me. I
Mhm.
told you that I'm a low hanging fruit. But
Mhm.
me, if I'm out here talking about all this thing that I'm talking about right now,
Mhm.
and next time I'm across the street because I'm drunk and I'm doing XYZ, yeah, you have to judge me harsher. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You
Absolutely.
have to judge me harsher, and I have to judge myself harsher. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's
And
pressure,
your reputation
and your
is really,
reputation is
you have to
really,
guard it with
you
your
have to guard
life.
it with your life. And so
That's your
you
social
do
credit, your social
all of that,
currency.
man, and then you add the pressure of performing in a relationship as well
Maintaining a
as a great
relationship.
man. That's too much pressure. You're like, yo, you know what? Let me be
Mhm.
great here and not have to worry about that.
Right, right, right,
now,
right.
you know what interesting
You
though?
can't be everywhere all the time, all at once. You know what I'm saying?
You know what interesting though? Now, this is what we are saying. This is how we think the relationship should work, or this is how like we should go about it. You know, once the woman or the man figures out who he is or who she is,
Mm-hmm.
she will find her place.
Right.
There is a lot of lack of self-awareness in
Mm-hmm.
this world on both sides, woman, man. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Even the fact that in this world, like men or like we they value us by why by the things we accomplish.
Yeah.
It's not even true, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
false. Hmm.
Mm.
The true self, we don't need to accomplish anything for someone to love you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, for you to be in a relationship with somebody, you don't have to show them you have this, you have that. That's why it's so hard on men nowadays.
You shouldn't even want to lead with that.
That's why it's so.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so hard on men and women nowadays to be together.
Well, because if you don't know yourself, then you're going to put yourself in situations that are not good for you.
Hmm.
Feel me?
Because
That's what it is. Simply
Yeah.
put.
Hey man, I wish you told me that a long time ago.
I wish I told myself that a long time ago. You know when
Yo,
they say, "Yo, what would you tell your younger self?" That
Mhm.
yeah. If
because
you don't know yourself,
so
you end
so
up in
so,
situations
so let me
that
that
close
are
my
don't
not
point.
good
make
for
any
you.
So let,
goddamn
let, let
Because if
sense.
you know yourself, then you'll put yourself in the
so,
right
so let me
situations.
close my point. Let me
Right.
correct because
That's
whatever
so true.
because whatever they're seeking from him, sh- they have it. I'm talking about the woman. They also have it within
I
themselves.
believe
Mm-hmm.
that.
So whatever
I
you're
believe that.
seeking from them,
Mm-hmm.
you also have it within yourself.
Right.
Now the thing is, you need to find that balance within yourself. Once you find the balance and you find someone else who has the balance,
Mm-hmm.
and guess what? perfect harmony, man.
That's
You
it.
know what's funny? You
That's
know,
it.
you know the
That's
way you
it.
said that. You know the way you said that. Me, I'm gonna be very open about
Mhm.
something. Okay, so one time I was doing shrooms.
I love stories like this,
Go.
man.
One time I was doing shrooms.
This guy have
and-
done it.
Yeah,
We were
yo,
just talking about
amazing
that.
experience, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. It is what it
I've
is.
done it twice. Both
I've
times were
done it.
great.
I've done it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 times I learned something deeper about myself and
Word,
eventually
word,
deeper
word.
about love.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it was annoying because they were truth that I was trying to reject the idea of loving a certain person,
Mhm.
and these shrooms showed me why I love that particular
That's
person.
beautiful, man.
It was
That's
it was
beautiful, man.
it was
This
it
guy-
was
You got
very
me right
humbling.
here, man. You
It
got
was
me right
very
here.
humbling, but I was
Yeah.
like, oh damn it! Because pretty much the first time the first time I did shrooms, I learned that beauty's in the eyes of the beholder.
Yes, sir.
And that's
Yes,
the
sir,
I
man.
understood that. Like, it's like hearing it, but when you do shrooms, you kind of develop these
Yeah, you
understandings, these
internalize
breakthrough.
it. Yeah,
You
fam. You
internalize it,
start
and
to
it becomes
internalize
something
these
that
things.
it's within you.
Mhm.
So I discovered that okay, I beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter. This person can say that this person is completely trash. This girl's na na na. This girl da 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 da. But I might
To
look at this
you.
girl. Yeah. But I might
Trash
look
to
at this
you.
girl and be like, she's perfect.
100%.
You know what I mean? And so
That's it.
so beauty's in the eyes of the beholder.
Mhm.
That's the number one thing I learned.
Hmm.
Second thing I discovered was I was with a friend of mine. So well, we had dated and we became friends. And she had this Mexican tapestry on her wall
Mm.
that had a bunch of different symbols on them, and the artistry of these symbols were they it was very rooted in symmetry.
Mhm.
And it's like so the contrast and symmetry. So the duality
Mhm.
that created some sort of balance. And
Right.
I'm looking at it and I'm hearing a message, and the
Yes.
message is balance comes within self first.
Mm.
Once you have balance within yourself, you can start harmonizing yourself with others, so long
Beautiful.
as you enter environments that are
Mhm.
equally as
Mhm.
balanced.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
You guys-
I have never
Okay.
seen a conversation close like this.
I'm gonna tell you the third truth that I learned.
Oh, please tell
The
me.
third truth that I learned.
I'm in awe right now. You know,
The
what I'm
third
saying? That's
truth-
beautiful. That's
Because
beautiful.
he's the guy that's pursuing. He's been pursuing balance all his
Oh,
life.
that's it. That's
Yo,
it.
the third truth that I learned,
Uh.
okay, and it was about when you harmonize yourself with love,
Mhm.
you'll always recognize love.
That's it. That's
You
it.
can try to deny it, you can try to reject it, you can
Mhm.
try to.
But
If
you
you
always
harmonize
mhm.
yourself with love, that requires like overcoming
fears,
fear,
insecurity,
insecurities, and all that stuff we're
Mhm.
talking about. If you harmonize yourself with love, you'll always recognize love.
So it's like real recognize real at that
Real
point.
recognize real at that point.
Speaking
man.
of love, you know,
Oh,
love
beautiful,
has a
man.
lot of power. Well, love is not the topic today, but hey,
This is
if
real.
we're talking
Hey,
about
that might be the
relationship,
topic next week.
if we're talking about relationships, so love is the ultimate thing. Because people who are in love create good relationships.
I think that's, yeah.
and you know, I think that might be slightly minimizing, you know, the significance of love, because love also exists outside of relationships, you know, or
Absolutely,
as we know it, you know.
absolutely.
And really, you're also right, because we do have a relationship with our environment. We have a relationship with society. We have a relationship with Earth and space and everything in between. You feel me?
So
So
love is the thing actually. It's the only thing.
can we say love is balance?
It is actually
That's
out of
big,
no
man.
out of love.
You can find balance.
Yes.
If you allow it to.
That's it.
If you allow it to.
Okay, so
I think that's what we should
okay, so this is it.
Get
This
off
is
right
it
here,
for
That
the
man.
was
Balance
a great
podcast.
man. I had a great
So
time.
give us a thumbs up, share,
all that
like,
good stuff, man.
and
Find balance, man.
find balance, man.
Hey, peace, love.
Yes, seek your dreams.
That's awesome.
Make it happen. You know.
Hey, man, I love you, man. Yo, respect.
Respect,
Good-ass
G.
conversation,
I love you too, man.
That was awesome. That was awesome.